Czech Professor Alhaji Dr. Yehya Jammeh reiterated his desire for the youth of the country to go back to the land and make the Gambia food self-sufficient.
My objective is to make it attractive to the young people so that they will not see agriculture as something of a social failure, or like an educated person living as you and running a farm, they think that you have failed. That's what I believe in, leadership by example. You know, if you sit in one office and there are people working under you, you see, nobody would come and tell you something that he thinks would displease you. So they will come and tell you something that will please you and something that will save their skin. So nobody will come and tell you, oh, after all, the bridge they are building is not a good one. It is just a sham. They won't tell you that, especially as a head of state. So it is very good that in Africa maintain this system of going to see what is going on. The projects, if you continue like that, nowhere in Africa would anybody flout with the projects sponsored by the FAO. This is what Africans need.
The Gambian leader was deeply impressed by the versatility and efficient manner in which Dr. Baba Gana Ahmad executed his duties in the Gambia, and as a man known far and near for his generosity, President Jammeh requested for a farewell dinner to be hosted in honor of Dr. Ahmad, and also revealed plans to decorate the man with the insignia of Commander of the Republic of the Gambia. After receiving the touching compliments of cabinet ministers and unexpected generosity from the head of state, Dr. Baba Gana Ahmad would surely leave the shores of the country with the blessing of not only the president, but even the common Gambian who benefited immensely from the efforts of a man who helped the Chief Minister of Agriculture realize his aspiration of making the Gambia the food basket of Africa, a move which has seen significant support and appreciation from the citizenry. For Grts News, I am Esrumane.
Well, members of the National Enterprise Development Initiative, NEDI, have handed over fishing materials worth over $300,000 to youth groups in Bara and Kiang. The gesture forms part of the institution's youth empowerment project. It's also anchored in youth to take over the fisheries sector. Ibrahim Jatta reports.
Taking part in a fact-finding mission at the Banjul beach, gaining useful information on what ought to be done to engage young people in the fisheries sector, the National Enterprise Development Initiative, NEDI, Friday handed over 2 fishing trolleys and 2 15-horsepower outboard engines worth over $300,000 to youth groups in Bara and Kiang. The gesture is undoubtedly conceived as a way to empower Gambian youths in response to President Jammeh's call for the youth folk to venture and take over the fisheries sector, a vocation where the citizenry feel overshadowed by non-Gambians, and rightly so, given that a third of fishing activities in the country's endowed waters are conducted by immigrants.
We are here at the riverside to hand over this equipment, fishing equipment, to deserving youth groups in fishing. Like as in line with the call of our able president, His Excellency Professor Dr. Alhaji Yehya Jammeh, to encourage and support young people to go back to the sea and land so as to utilize the resources available within our environment so as for us to be food self-sufficient.
In his recent tour around the country, one of the president's key messages to young people has been the need to venture into the fisheries and agricultural sector, vocations he pledged immense and unflagging support in the national quest to allay hunger and create employment. The president had promised to provide 2 fishing trolleys and 2 outboard engines to each coastal community, prompting the formation of an initiative dubbed Youth in Agriculture and Fisheries Initiative YAFI, which was tasked to conduct a countrywide inspection tour, gathering information on the needs and shortcomings of youths. It was against this backdrop that NEDI, an institution created 14 years ago to hone and improve the skills of youths in entrepreneurship by harnessing creative minds through training and capacity building, went ahead to provide much-needed resources for fishing to these communities. It was all motivated by the Gambian leaders' move to make young people self-reliant and dependable, and now the first 2 communities have benefited from the scheme.
We are sea professionals from Bara. We have they launched this program maybe 3 years back, but today, if you see the boat, you know that definitely they are trying to help the youths. Okay, we the youths, we should try and work hard. This our sea is for us.
All this, past period, we've been calling on Gambian youths, to come out and then also try to venture into sea to create that environment where we as Gambians, will forget the issue of whenever there are magas or wherever there are these, prayers, when foreigners go back to their native countries, the issue of fish, become scarce in this country.
This is the latest development initiated by NEDI within this week alone, following the just concluded week-long entrepreneurship training for more than 30 youths from all regions across the country. That program was meant to improve marketing skills among a host of other engagements.
That the young people will have to be on the farms, the young people will have to be in the sea. They have been always saying it. I watched one of his this was far back as 1995 or so, when he was saying go back to the sea. Not go back to the sea and do whatever, or go there to swim, but go there to catch the blessings we have, so that our people will benefit.
The gesture could be the first of its kind, made by an institution entirely focused and concerned with the development. Of young people. Yet this establishment is still determined to invest more in this sector, and with the project at its embryonic age, the future could be brighter than ever. Ibrahim Ajata, Grts.
Now, Action Aid the Gambia has organized a 5-day training on disaster preparedness and mitigation for staff of the organization. The capacity building is meant to equip participants with skills and knowledge to better respond to disasters when they occur. Fatou Jasseh tells us more.
Are very common in the country, leading to excessive loss of property and livelihoods for many across the country. Mobilizing action and efforts to ease the situation, Action Aid the Gambia convened its staff and other relevant stakeholders to capacitize them on disaster preparedness and mitigation. Equipping workers with essential knowledge and skills to bolster disaster mitigation, helping to support the country's program in delivering a timely, quality and effective emergency response is extremely important for Action Aid.
We have been in the issue of disaster. The Gambia has been a disaster-stricken country for about 2-3 years now. So it is apt, very ideal that we have knowledge and skills that will help us anticipate disasters, recognize disasters, and plan for the mitigation or prevention of disasters.
The Gambia enjoys a swift emergency response program, joining forces with international donors to lessen the effect of natural calamities, yet officials believe more can be done to prevent disasters.
The tendency for most people and organizations is to come in at the disaster phase for prominence and visibility as philanthropists. I think this is a trend that we have seen, not only in the Gambia, but globally. That most of the time when we talk about prevention, when we talk about preparedness, many donors don't want to invest their monies into that. But when there is a disaster, everybody comes in with huge monies, and so some of them, they are doing it so that they can be seen as philanthropists, so that they can be seen as people who are sympathetic to situations when people are in disaster.
Philemon Majua is the expert from Kenya, hired to transmit much-needed expertise to the participants. Here he highlights what he said will be the main thrust of his lectures in the coming days.
The main reason of doing this is we've committed within the global level and also within the national level that we will be responding to our target communities, the communities that we are working with. We have committed that we will respond to emergencies which are affecting them, the normal way that we have done. And one way of doing this is to ensure that we have adequate preparedness activities and strategies within our country program.
Expected to develop a draft preparedness plan for increased efficiency in emergency responses, participants have a critical task to undertake as floods continue to destroy property and upset livelihoods around the country. For Grts News, I am Fatou Jasseh.
6 universities in Africa, including the Gambia and the Great Ilorin University of Nigeria, have signed a memorandum of understanding which allows the signatories cooperate in a variety of joint academic and educational activities, including organizing, promoting, and coordinating long and short-term faculty and student exchanges and other